All right, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Yatazadak, Hero of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Now today we're going to go into Numbers chapter 11, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. So it reads, Wayahaya ha'aim kamatha ananayim, right? And it came to pass the people were bemoaning themselves, right? Painfully, raya, right? In the ears of the Lord, Ba'azanya Yahweh. Wayashemai Yahweh, and he heard the Lord, and he waxed hot his anger, right? Wayahar Apwa, or Salakia, and waxed hot his anger. Watha Bayar Bama, and consumed upon them the fire of the Lord. Ash Yahweh. Watha Akal, and consumed Ba Quataza, unto the end of the camp. Ha Manacha, right? So that word bemoaning, right, which is anan, right? Let's get that real quick, Salakia. Because, for example, when Benjamin was born, right, through Rachel, right, his name was called Ban Awanaya, meaning the son of my bemoaning, right? Because that is the last son that Rachel had before she passed away, right? You also read about that in Deuteronomy chapter 26, right? The confession of the first fruits, right? Says what? I have not eaten in my bemoaning, right? Which is synonymous with sorrow, right? So you could say that it means sorrow as well, right? But it's more in the sense of bemoaning, right? So let's get that actually. So like it, I believe this is it right here. Let's see. A one. No, that's not it. So like it. Bear with me. No, that's not it. Thought I had it pulled up. Let me check these tabs right here. Nope, that's not it. Let me just close up that tab, and I'll just go to the precept itself, right? The word is anan. Doesn't mean to complain or murmur, right? Anan, to be sad, sorrowful, to mourn, which is not to mourn. To mourn is a ball, right? Uh, the Arabic says anan, to groan, not necessarily. It says complain, murmur, right? But you compare that to awan, right? Let's get that. Maybe this is it. No, that's not it. It's Lakia. Awan, Strong's H205. To pant, to exert oneself in vain, nothingness, affliction, mourning, right? Um, Awan, meaning emptiness, vanity, falsehood, not necessarily. Awan, signifying nothing, right? Let's see. Right. So when you compare, right, those words, it really means uh to bemoan, right? Numbers 11 and 2. Wayataza'ak ha'aim al Moshe, and they cried the people unto Moses. Wayatapalal Moshe al Yahweh, and he prayed Moses unto the Lord. Wa Watashakwai ha'ash, right? And subsided the fire, right? Subside is the word for shakwai, which means, let's get that. Let's lock it. Let me close this. Nope, that's not it. Damn, thought I had it pulled up. Here it is, shakwai, right? Meaning to subside, right? To cease, to abate, to sink down, right? So it just means to subside, right? Shakwai, subside, right? Right, so it says, and they cried the people unto Moses, and he prayed Moses unto the Lord, right? And was subside, and was um and the fire was subsided, right? Or subside to the fire, right? Wayakwara Sham Hamakwam, and they called to the place that is Hahawa Tabaira, right? Which is Tabera Kaya Baira, because consumed upon them Bama, the fire of the Lord, Ash Yahweh. Waha Asap Sap, right? And the mixed multitude, right? Which is what the translations say. But that word Asap Sap just means and the collective, right? It means a collective of people, right? doesn't necessarily mean a mixed multitude, because that word asap means to gather, right? That extra sap at the end, it gives it um, how do you say it? It adds more emphasis into the word, right? Which is denoting a collective, right? But you can say, and the mixed multitude, right? Which were in their midst, Ashar, Bakorabwa, right? Hata, Hata, Awa, um, and they desired a desire, Ta'awa, right? Wayashabwa, right? And they turned back unto them, meaning the people, the Israelites. Wayabakawa, Wayabakwa, right? And they wept, even the sons of Israel. Gam, Benaiah, Yasha'ala. Waya Amarwa, and they said, who will give us to eat flesh? Maya, Ya Akal Nawa, Bashar. Zakar Nawa, we remembered to the fish, Atha, Haggadah, which we ate in Egypt, Ashar Na Akal, Bamatazarium, for naught. Hanam, meaning for nothing, right? Or for free, right? Atha ha quashayim, to the cucumbers. Wa atha ha abatachyum, to the leeks, or tilaki, to the melons. Wa atha ha hatazayar, and to the leeks. Wa atha ha batazalium, and to the onions. Wa atha ha hashawamium, and to the garlic, which they ate in Egypt. Wa'atha napashnawa, and now our souls are dried up. Our soul is dried up. Yabasha, and there is none, ayan, of all things, call, which we do, which is Balthaya. So they're saying, and now our soul is dried up, and there is none of all things, not even, or nothing. Yeah, so it says, and now our soul is dried up, and there is not out of all things anything, right? But to the manna, al-Haman, right? Al-Hamana, right? Before our eyes, ayan yanawa. Waha mana, and the manna, kazarai, which is like a seed, coriander, God, hawa, that is, wa ayan nawa, and its appearance, or salakia, and its visage, ka ayan, is like the appearance of Bdelem, which is Habadalach. Now this would be the color of Bdelem. Salakia. Kind of like a yellowish brownish color, right? But Bdelem is actually a gum resin, right? Extracted from plants in India, and trees in Africa. Um, Arabia, Media, Babylon, right? It's called Bdellium resin, right? But that's just the color of it. It is not itself the resin, right? Shatawa, Ha'im, right? Now we have that word, for example, Natash or Nashat, which means um, to stray, right? In the sense of wandering away, right? So it says, Shatawa, and strayed the people, Ha'im, meaning they scattered themselves, right? And they gathered, while Laquatwa, they gathered to it, the manna that is, Watachanwa, and they grinded it upon stones, Ba Rachim, Awa, or they crushed them, Dakwa, in crushing it, Ba Madaka, Wa Bashalwa, and boiled it, right? Ba Parar, in breaking it up, because the root word is parar actually means to break something, right? So they boiled it in order to break it up, so they can make cakes out of it, right? Wa ashwa, and they made unto it athawa, agwath, meaning cakes which were made upon stones, right? Let's see, so let's go to that word parar. Slovakia. Parar. Slovakia, just bear with me. So that's Numbers 11 and 8. Because in the blue letter it says that parar or parwar means pan, but that is only 3 times, right? In as far as the precepts that show up here, right? Which is why it's important to compare and contrast when going into these words and knowing the concrete meaning of certain words and certain times where euphemisms are used to actually denote an actual object or not, right? Because here it says parwar, a pot, right? Pan, pot, right? But let's look at the precepts, right? Judges 6 and 19. And Gideon went in and made ready a kid and 11 cakes of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth in a pot and brought it out unto him under the oak and presented it, right, unto the angel, right, which appeared unto him. Now we're going to analyze the precept itself. Judges 6 and 19. Wa Gadayan Ba'a, and Gideon entered. Wayaash, right, and he made or prepared Gadiah, a kid of the goats, Azayim, wa ayapath, and an epath of quamach, meaning grounded flour of unleavened bread, matazawath, habashar, right? The flesh he placed, some shum, basal, right? In a reed basket, waha marak, and the broth, right? That's what the word marak means. And the broth he was placed, right? Shum, and breaking up, baparar. But here it says in a pot. Waya taza'ah, and he brought out unto him al Yahweh, al tachath, to that which was under the oak, ha'alha, and he brought it near, wayagash, right? So the reasoning behind that is, you look at the translation, it says, and Gideon went in and made ready a kid, and unleavened cakes of an ephah of flour. The flesh he put in a basket, and he put the broth, right? It says in a pot, right? But the broth, right? He was still boiling it, right? Because the broth he placed and breaking it up, right? Now this isn't the only precept I use to get that rationale, right? Because now we're going to look at 1 Samuel 2 and 14, which I should have went to that first, but you know, it is what it is, right? So it says, Wahaka Bakayar, right? And he smote to the pan, right? Awa Badawad, or to the kettle, right? Awa Bakwalath, or to the cauldron, Kwalath, Kwalachath, Salakia. Awa, meaning or, says here in a pan, Baparar, Kal, Ashar, all that which, right, he ascended up, or he brought up, right, with the flesh hook, Ha Mazalag, right, Yakwak he took, Ha Kahan the priest, upon it, Bawa, like thus, Kaka, Ya'aisha, Ya'ashwa, like thus he made unto it, Lakal to all Israel, Yasha'ala, Haba'ayim, right, which he brought in hither, Shum, upon boiling, Bashalah, right? So this is one of the sons of Eli, right? That were rebellious, right? But the point is that what did he do? He struck into the pan, the kettle, or the cauldron, right? Or Baparar upon breaking it up, right? Because the sacrifices, they had to be boiled to a certain extent, right? And then the flesh would be able to break off easier, right? So that's why it says, or upon breaking up, all that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself, right? So that's what it's saying, right? Because when you look at Numbers 11, Let's go back to the precept. Numbers 11 and 8, right? So it says, and wandered off the people, and they took to it, and they grinded it upon stones, or crushing it, in crushing it, upon crushing it, and boiling it upon breaking it up, and they made to it aguath, right? Which is cakes, but it's a specific cake, right? Or bread, right? So it says, I got a cake baked under hot cinders, such as the Orientals are still accustomed to make, as in upon stones, especially when on a journey or in haste, right? And what answers to that is the account in Genesis. And Abraham, Genesis 18 and 6, and Abraham hastened unto the tent unto Sarah, and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth, which was cakes upon stone, right? It's like, yeah, meant to click on the precept. It says what? Genesis 18 and 6. So there was no pot needed, right? Because they cooked them upon stones, right? Because it says, Wa Ishaya I wath, right? Make upon the and make, right? Cakes, but it doesn't say anything about upon hearth or upon stones, because that word itself means cakes made upon stones, right? So you got to be weary of the blue letter, right? Slack, yeah, just bear with me. So Numbers 11 and 8, right? Wa Ishwa, and they made with them Athawa Agawath, meaning cakes upon stone, right? Wahaya, and they were, and it was Salakia, its taste, Tayamwa, Tayam means taste. Katayam, like the taste of Lashad, right? Let's get that word. The word Lashad means Lashad, from an unused root, uncertain meaning, apparently juice, vigor, sweet or fat cake, fresh moisture. So that word Lashad is denoting moisture, right? Because it says Lashad ha-shaman, right? Its taste was like the taste of the moisture of oil, right? Waba Radath Chatal, right? And upon going down the dew upon the camp, Al Machana, by night, Layala, Yarad went down the manna, Ha mana, upon it, the Layawa. Wayeshamai Masha Atha Ha'im, and he heard Moses to the people, to their weeping, Baka, um, according to their clans, right? La Mashapachtayim Tayawa, right? Ayash La Pathach, a man to the door of his tent, right? Achalwa. Wayahar Ap Yahweh, and wax hot the anger of the Lord, exceedingly Ma'ad, before the eyes, or Salakia, Wa Ba'ayanya, and in the eyes of Moses, Masha, it was evil. It was an evil thing, right? That the children of Israel, right, were weeping, right, complaining, bemoaning themselves, right? Waya Amar Masha al Yahweh, and he said Moses to the Lord, Lama, to what? Ha Rayath, to what have you been evil toward your servant, right? La Ibadka, right? Wa Lama, and to what? La'a Matazathaya, have I not found favor? Chana, in your eyes, Ba'ayan Yaka, Lasham, to place, Atha Masha, to the burden of all the people this, Kal Ha'im Hazah, upon me, Aliyah, Ha'anakaya, right? Meaning I, Haraya Thaya, have I even brought forth, Atha Kal Ha'im, to all the people this, Hazah, right? Because that word hara, ha-raha, it means to conceive, right? I'm a Nakaya, right? If even I, right, have I brought them forth? Yaladthaya wa, right? Kayatha Amar, because you say unto me, Aliyah, Sha'awa, bear them upon your bosom. Ba Chayaka, right? Ka Ashar Yasha'a, like which he bears, right? Ha-aman, meaning he that is faithful to a suckling, Atha Hayanak, right? Al-ha'adama, upon the land, right? Ashar Nashabaitha, which you have sworn to their fathers, La-abba Thayawa, right? Because that word in the blue letter, that word for aman, it's they're trying to say that it's denoting a nurse, right? Salakia, let's get that real quick. Numbers chapter 11. Salakia, bear with me. So here it says nursing father, right? It doesn't say all that, right? That word aman just denotes faith or faithfulness, right? Which is amen, right? Or aman, right? So it says to support, to foster as a parent, nurse, figuratively, to be firm or faithful, right? It just means faithful, right? Blue letter tends to complicate certain of these etymologies. Aman, right? Um, let's just scroll down. See what we can get. The Arabic says Aman, to be faithful, right? Simple as that, right? So it says, right? Numbers 11 and 12, right? Moses said, I have even I conceived to all the people this, if even I have I brought him forth, because you say unto me, bear them in your bosom, like which he bears, he that is faithful, ha meaning he, aman means faithful, right? He that is faithful to his suckling, atha ha yanak, because that word yanak means to suck, but it also denotes a suckling child or an infant, right? Upon the land which you have sworn to their fathers, right? So Moses is saying, have I brought them forth, right? You're asking me to bear them in my bosom like a child in order to lead them to the land which you have sworn to their fathers, right? Numbers 11 and 13, Ma'ayan Laya Bashar, meaning from whence uh, will it be to me flesh, right? Lathath, to give, Lakal Ha'im, to all the people this, Hazah, right? Kaya Yabakwa, because they weep upon me. Alaya, La Amar, to say, Thana Lana will give unto us flesh, Bashar, and we will eat it. Na Akala, right? And that word Ma'ayan is a derivative, Ma meaning from, Aya means where, the Na at the end, right? So that word Ma meaning from, Ayan meaning from whence or from where, right? But the Na, it just gives it, gives it a context, right? So that really means, from whence will there be to me flesh to give to all the people this, because they weep upon me to say, give unto us flesh and we will eat. And that's because of the mixed multitude that was among them, right? La'a, I will call, I am not able, Anakaya, even I, right, alone, Labadia, to bear Lasha'ath, to all the people this, Atha call Ha'im Hazah, Kaya Kabad Mamanaya, because it is heavy, it is a heavy thing unto me, right? The word kabad means to honor, right? It means glory, but it also means denoting heaviness, right? Whether physical or metaphysically, right? Wa'im kaka, right? And if, like thus, you should do atha Aisha unto me, laya haragnaya, smite to kill me, na'a now, harag, smite to kill, I'm mataza'athia, if I have found han, favor in your eyes, ba ayan yaka, right? Slap me, spare with. Numbers 11 and 15, right? Wa'al ara'ah, right? Uh, said, so it means, and so that I do not see, um, upon my pains, by Rayathaya, right? Because that word Rai means pain or evil, right? So essentially it says, and if, like thus, you should do unto me, smite to kill me, now, or Slakia, please. The word na'ah means please, right? Please smite to kill, if I have found favor in your eyes, and so that I do not see uh this evil, these pains upon me, right? Verse 16, right? Salakia. Why Amar Yahweh al Moshe, and he said the Lord unto Moses, right? Asapah Laya, gather unto me Shabayim 70 men, Ayash, of the elders of Israel, Mazakwanya Yasha'ala, right? Ashar Yadaitha, which you know, Kaya Hama, because they are elders of the people, Zakwanya Ha'im, and their officers, Wa Shatar Yahweh, right? And take unto them, Wa Laquachtha, Slaki, Wa Laquachath, Atham, and take unto them, unto Al-Achal, to the tent of assemblage, my wa'id, Waha Thayatazabwa, and make them to stand there, Shum, with thee, I'm Ka. Waya Radathia, and I will go down, and I will speak, Wa Dabarathia, I'm Ka, with thee, there, Shum, Wa Atazalthaya, and I will impart from the Spirit, Maharawach, or Racha, which is upon thee, Elayaka, right? Washamathia, and I will place it upon them, Elayahum. Wanasha'awa, right? And they will bear with thee, Athaka, right? Upon the burden of the people, Bamashah Ha'im, right? Wala'ah, Thashaya, or Thasha'ah, and you will not bear them, or Salaki, you will not bear you, Atha, to them alone, Labad Ka, right? So that word Atazal, it means something beside, right? You can say this so and so item is beside so and so item, right? But what the Lord did is, right, like it says here, Wa Atazal Thaya, right? Which the Thaya at the end means I, right? So essentially it's saying, and I will essentially saying I will slack it. I will next to, right, or I will beside, right? Atazal Thaya. So essentially, roughly paraphrasing or roughly translated, it would say I to beside, right? which is in the sense of the Lord uh, taking some of the spirit which was upon Moses and putting it right beside the spirit that was upon him, as in, right, taking some of that, separating it, and then placing it upon the elders, right, of the people, which is why I read it as, and I will impart from the spirit which is upon thee, and I will place it upon them, right? If you can understand what I'm saying, right? So essentially, that word wa'atazal thaya is just saying, and I will put beside from the spirit which is upon thee, right? But the simpler way to say it is, I will impart, right? Wa'al ha'aim ta'amar, and to the people you will say, right? Ha taqwadashwa, sanctify yourselves tomorrow, la mahar, wa akal thumb, and you will eat flesh, bashar, right? Kaya bak yatham, because you have wept in the ears of the Lord, right? Ba azanya Yahweh, right? Slack-ish, bear with me. La Amar Maya Ya Akal Nawa, right? To say who will give unto um uh who will give us to eat flesh, Bashar, Kaya Tawab, because it was good unto us, Lanawa in Egypt, Ba Matazarium, Wa Nathan Yahweh Lakam, and has given the Lord unto you, and will give the Lord unto you flesh, Bashar, and you will eat. Wa Akal Thumb, right? Salakia. La'a Yawam Achad, and which means um and not a day one you will eat. Tha Akal one, Ra Kalan, right? Wa La'a Yamayim, and not days of as in a few days, right? Because the translation says two, but it just means and not few days, right? Or roughly translated, and not days, right? Wala'a takamasha, and not 5 days, yamayim. Wala'a ashara, and not 10 days, yamayim. Wala'a asharyam yawam, and not 20 days, right? Ad Hadash Yamayim, even a month of days. Ad Ashar Yataza'ah, even which comes out from your nose. Ma'ap come, right? The word ap means nose, right? Wahaya lakam, and will be, right, unto you, lakam. La zara'ah, right? That word zara'ah doesn't mean to reject. It means right, um for let's get into the it's in a different sense, because that word zara is a derivative of zawar, meaning something alienated, right? And zara, which is where you get the word zarai, which is essentially the same thing, which means to sow or to scatter, right? Or but zara means to disperse, Zarai means to sow, right, or seed, right? Um, so let's look at the etymology. Salakia. Numbers 11. Which is 11 and 20, right? Salakia. See where we're at. Numbers 11 and 20, right? So that word just means even. It will be and will be unto you for a refuse, right? The reason why, right? Because this is an actual, right? A literal word. It's a derivative of zawar and zara, like I just explained, just to show you, right? Because what? Why? How did I make that estimation? Well, something that is refused, right? You're estranged unto it. For example, you eat pudding all day every day. You're gonna alienate yourself from it, right? So that's the rationale behind that, right? So it says, and it will be unto you for refuse, right? Meaning you're gonna reject it, disdain it. But it really means to refuse, right? But this isn't an actual, right? This is just a derivative, right, of root words. This isn't an actual word, just like this next word here, which says ya aina, right? So it says, and it will be unto you for refuse, right? Meaning in that which, right? And I'm gonna give you an example. So it's like the word lamayan, right? Doesn't have an actual, it's just a derivative of other words. Here it says because, but that's not what it's talking about. Ya aina, on account, because, right? It is that. But let's look at the precepts, right? Um, let's see. Genesis 22 and 16, and he said, "By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for right in that which thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son." That's in Genesis 22:16, right? Leviticus 26 and 43, the land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbaths, while she lieth desolate without them, and they shall accept the punishment of their iniquity in that which, because they despise my judgments, and because their soul abhorred my statutes, right? So that just means in that which pertaining to right, whatever the topic is in that precept, right? So it says, and it will be unto you for refuse in that which kaya, because you have rejected ma'as thumb, right? That word ma'as means to reject, right? You have rejected to the Lord, Atha Yahweh, Ashar Bakorab come, which have came near unto him, you're weeping, or Salakia. Um, which you have came near unto him, and you have wept, right, before him. Wathabakwa la panyawa, to say la amar lama, to what is this? Za yatazanawa, uh he has brought us out from Egypt, right? Ma matazarium, right? So it's just saying, even the month of days, even which till it comes out from your nose, and it will be unto you for refuse, right? In that which, because you have rejected to the Lord, which you have came near, right, unto him, right? You have came near and you have wept before him, Salakia, to say, to what is this that he has brought us out from Egypt, right? And really, that's 2/3 of our people today, right? Because they're focused on the flesh, they're focused on earthly things, right? They're focused on who has the purplest garment, who has the biggest camp, right? To be called rabbi, rabbi, deacon, deacon, right? Like Yahushua spoke about, right? To be seen of men, right? And all of those things, right? Which is why the scriptures say that you will know them by their fruits. Not because they have the biggest camp, but the fruits that we're talking about are the fruits of the Spirit, right? We're not talking about, okay, well, my fruits is that I have IUIC, we're everywhere, you know. We have the biggest, we have camps, you know, we're on international television, right? That's what you call attention whores, right? We're here to preach his word. We don't give a damn. We don't want to be known, right? We want to be known in the kingdom, like the book of Psalms says, right? They will say, right, this man was born here, right? You can look that up yourself, right? And what did Apostle Paul say, right? Uh, is this not Israel after the flesh, who walk after the sacrifices of idols, right? Or behold, Israel after the flesh, right? You can look that up on your own as well, right? See how many verses we got left. Got about 10 verses, right? Numbers 11 and 21. Waya Abar Mashah Shash Bawath, right? And he said, Moses, right? 600,000 Alap, footmen, regalia, right? Ha'im, Ashar, were the people which I, Anakaya, um, have came near unto, right? Or Salakia, which I have, which the people which I, right, and in the midst of, right, by Korabwa, wa Atha Amarath, and you say, flesh I will give unto them, Bashar Athan Lacham, and they will eat, wa Akalwa, right, a month of days, Chadash Yamayim, Waha, or Slakia, Ha Tazaan, Wabakwar, right, the flocks and the herds, will they be slaughtered? Ya Shechat, for them, Lacham, Wa Mataza'ah, and be found for them, Laham, I'm Atha call the Gaia, if to all the fishes of the sea, Hayam, if they be gathered, Ya Asap, unto them, Laham, Wa Mataza'a, Laham, and be found for them, right? Meaning, will that suffice them, right? And that word shachat, right, means to slaughter, right? Which you will read further down, right? I'm just going to go to it because I'm going to show you that it has the same meaning, right? Select it, see where it is. Here it says shatach, which the blue letter says spread out, but that's not what it's talking about. The letters are interchanged, right? Which it means slaughter as well, because it reads, and they slaughter to them, right, and slaughtering them round about the camp, right? Meaning the quails that the Lord sent, right, from the sea. Let's see. Numbers 11 and 23. Why Amar Yahweh al Mashah. He said the Lord unto Moses, right? Hayad Yahweh is the hand of the Lord cut short. Taquatazar. Because that word quatazar, right, it means to harvest, right? Or to reap. But the word literally means to cut short, or cut off, right? So the Lord is saying, is the hand of the Lord cut short? Haitha, meaning now. Tha ra'ah, you will see. Hayakwarka, right? If it be meet, if it will meet thee, right? Because the word kwara, it means to read, to call out, but it also means to meet, right? For example, Og, the king of the Amorites, he met the children of Israel out in battle, right? Which the word is Quara'ah, right? So the Lord is saying, right, you will see if it meets thee, meaning if it happens, the barya, the words, or if not, I'm la'ah, right? Waya taza'a masha, waya dabar, and he went out Moses, and he spoke unto the people, al ha'im, to the words of the Lord, Athad dabarya Yahweh, waya asap, right? And he gathered 70 of the men, Shabayim, Ayash, of the elders of the people, Ma Zakwanya, Ha'im, Waya Imad, Atham, and they stood with him round about the tent, Sabiyabtha, Ha'achol, Wayarad Yahweh, Ba'ainan, and he went down the Lord from the cloud, Wayadabar, Al Yahweh, and he spoke unto them, right? Waya Atazal, right? And he separated, right? Man Haracha, from the spirit, Ashar Eliyawa, which was upon him, Wayathan al Shabayim, and he placed it upon the 70 men, Ayash, of the elders, Hazakwanyam, right? Wayahaya, Kadawach, and it came to pass, right? When it rested upon them, Elayaham, the spirit, Havracha, right? And they prophesied. Waya naba'awa, right? And they did not again. Wala'a yasapwa, right? So they only prophesied for a moment, right? And then they stopped, right? Salakia, bear with me. Wayasha'arwa, right? And they remained Shania Anashim, 2 men, right? In the camp, Ba Machana, right? Hither, Shum, Ha-Achad, or Slakia, Shum, the name of the one, Ha-Achad, was Aldad, Washam, and the name of the second, Ha-Shanya, was Mayadad, right? Wata Nacha, right? And rested upon them, Elayaham, the spirit, Haracha, right? Wahama, right? And they, right? Um, and they were, or Salakia, and they, Ka, or Salakia, Ba, Kathabium, and they were upon the summons, were writing, right? Because Moses summoned the 70 elders of the people and these 2 men, right? In order for the Lord to impart unto them of the Spirit, right? So it says Kathabium, meaning right. Kathab means to write, but this was actually a summon that was given unto them, but they did not go out to the tent of assemblage, right? Wa la'a yataza'awa, meaning and they did not go out to the tent. Ha achala wayatha naba'awa, and they prophesied in the camp. Ba machana, right? Waya rataza hanayar, and he ran, the young man, right? Rataza means to run. Nayar means young man or young woman, right? Which would be Nayara, right? Wayagad Lambasha, and he revealed unto Moses to say, or Salakia, and he said, Waya Amar Aldad wa Mayadad, meaning Eldad and Medad, are prophesying in the camp. Mata Naba'ayim Ba Machana. Waya Aina Yahawashi, and he answered Joshua, the son of Nun, Bun Nawan, or you can say Nun, the Y supplementary, the minister of Moses, Masharath, Mashah, Ma Bahar Yahweh, of his choice ones, right? Because Moses, or Salakia, Joshua, was that young man, right? Which was his attendant, his minister, one of his choice uh, um, uh, secretaries, right? Just to give an example, right? Or assistant, right? Waya Amar, and he said, Adonai, my Lord, Moses, Mashah, restrain them, kalam, right? That word kalam means to restrain, right? Waya Amar Lawa Mashah, and he said unto him, Moses, Ha Makwana, jealous are you, Atha, unto me, Laya, Wamaya, right? And who, right? Yathan, meaning to give. Call, I'm all the people of the Lord Yahweh. Nabaya'ayim, to be prophets, right? Kaya Yathan Yahweh, because he gave the Lord to his spirit, Atah Rachawa, or Slakia, because he placed the Lord to his spirit upon them, Elayaham, right? So essentially it says, and he said unto him, Moses, jealous you are unto me, right? And right, who would give to all the people of the Lord, right, to be prophets, right? Or who would appoint all the people of the Lord to be prophets? Because has given the spirit of, because was appointed the spirit of the Lord upon them, right? So Moses was, in a sense, he was stressed out. He was tired of Israel shit, right? Because he had to deal with with them burden, with them being a burden. He had to baby them, you know. Then, he, you know, he had to deal with their bemoaning, right? So more so, he answered that out of desperation, right? To say, well, who will make all the people of the Lord to be prophets, right? So Moses said basically, right, he might as well give his spirit to all the people, right? So they can all, right, walk in order, right? And so they can get out of my hair, right? But that's not what the Lord ordained, right? And he said that because the Lord gave of his spirit unto Eldad and Medad, right? So Moses was just thinking, he was overreacting because he said, well, we might as well, give it to everybody just so they can leave me alone, right? But that wasn't the case, right? Waya Asap Moshe al Hamachana, and he gathered Moses to the camp, Hawa that is, and the elders of Israel, Wa Zakwanya Yasha'ala, Wa Racha Nasai, and the spirit, or Salakia, and the wind, right? Um, how do you say? And the wind, plucked up, right? Or let's see, and the wind, right? Nasai. I mean, you can just say like, right. So yeah, it just says, and the wind was plucked up, meaning, a wind started up, right? Meaning, it just uh suddenly started blowing vehemently, right? From the Lord, Ma'atha Yahweh, Wayagaz Shalawayim, right? And it says and it swept the quails from the sea, which is what the translation says, but that word gaz means to shear, right? That is what you do when you shear a lamb, right? You you cut its coat, right? Or you shear the coat, right? So what the Lord did, he kind of used that wind, right, to cut on the wings of the quails, right, and to blow them into the direction of the camp, right? So it was a sharp wind, right? It was so sharp, right, that it kind of cut through the wings of the quails, right? According to what I according to my estimation, right? So it says Wayagaz Shalawayim, right? Meaning, right, and he cut to the quails, from the sea, man, hayam, right? Because that word gaz means, in the sense, to shear. It means to shear, right? In the sense of cutting, right? So the wind was so sharp it cut through the wings of the quails, right? Wayatash, right? And it says, and strew them over the camp, right? But that word, natash or nashat, it means the same thing, right? It means something that has strayed, right, or to wander off, right? So the Lord what strayed them away from their flight pattern, right, through the wind by cutting, right, through the sharply um, upon their wings, right? Wayashat, right, meaning and they strayed upon the camp. Al Hamachana, in the like the way, Kadarak, Yawam, of a day's journey. Ka, meaning thus. So it says Kadarak, Yawam, Ka, meaning like the way of a day, thus, right? Or as in a day's journey, right? So the quails were scattered throughout the camp. You can literally walk from one end of the camp full of quails for a whole day till you get to the other end of the camp, right? Waka Darak, and like the way of a day thus. Yawam Ka, right? Sabiabtha, roundabout. The camp, Ha Machana, Waka Amathium, right? And like unto 2 cubits, right? Upon the face of the earth. Al Panaya Ha Arataza, right? So there were so many quails that the quails were stacked up all over the camp, 2 cubits high, right? Which is a cubit is from your elbow to your hand. That is a cubit. So 2 cubits in height, right? That's about 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 feet high. Just quails everywhere. From one day's journey unto another, right? About 4 feet high, right? So the Lord flooded the camp with quails, right? Salakia. That's crazy. Wayaquam ha'im, call hayawam, meaning, and they rose a people all the day. That is, ha-hawa, wakal halayala, and all night, wakal yawam, and all the day after, the day after, ha-makarath, right? Because that word makar means tomorrow, right? Or in this sense, it says yawam ha-makarath, meaning the day after. Waya asapwa, and they gathered to the quails. Atha ha shalwa, right? Ha ayat, right? And the least of them gathered asap 10 homers. Aishara hamarium, right? Which is let me get that real quick. Let's see. Homer measurement. Let's see what we get for that. A Homer measurement in the Bible. It says here it is. Salakia. So it says an omer is 2.2 liters, right? 2 dry quarts, which is a dry measurement, or salakia, a homer is 220 liters. Woo! It's a lot of liters, right? So it says, right, they gathered 10 homers, right? Which is 10 cases of 220 liters. Waya Shatakwa, right? And they slaughtered them, Laham, Shatak, slaughtering roundabout, Sabyabtha, right? The camp, Ha Machana, right? So the Israelites were bugged out because they did not even wait to cook it. They just started slaughtering, right? The quails, and like it says in the next verse, the meat was still in their teeth, right? So they didn't sit there, they didn't prepare a table and then cook it, right? Numbers 11 and 33, Habashar, Iwadnawa, right? The flesh even was between their teeth, Bayan, Shanayaham, Taram, meaning before. They chewed it, Yakarath, but really it should read before they cut it, Yakarath, which is another way to say chew, as in cutting with the teeth, right? Wa'ab, Yahweh, and the anger of the Lord waxed hot, Hurrah, Ba'im, upon the people, Wayaka, and he smote the Lord Yahweh, right, upon the people, Ba'im, Makah, a plague very severe, right? But really it should say, and he smote the Lord upon the people, to smite them much exceedingly, right? That's really what it says. Numbers 11:34, Waya Quara Atha, right? And they called to the name of the place, Sham HaMakwam, that is Hahawa Quabarath, right? Quabarath Ha Ta'awa, which is Kibrath Hata'ava, which is Yiddish, not Hebrew, right? Kaya Sham, right? Because there were buried Quabarwa, there were buried the people Atha Ha'im, which went a lusting, right? Or which lusted, which is Ha Mata Awayim, right? Those that lusted, right? Where essentially just says, because there were buried the people which lusted, right? Numbers 11 and 35, Ma Quabarath, right? From Kibrath Hata'ava, Hata'awa, right? They journeyed Nasaiwa Ha'im, the people, to Hatazarath, which is Hazarath, Wa Yahayawa, and they were in Hazarath, Ba Hatazarath, right? So with that, it's Numbers chapter 11, going into the Hebrew, right? It's Brother Yatazadak Israel. Lord willing, you were edified. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Yasha Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom.